There's a concentrated effort to stop it. They'll do anything to stop us, especially now. Because when is our opposition?
He's been fighting for us for so long. So many schools of thoughts we've been through, yeah, to keep us strong. So tell me, what is it that you're willing to do to make our dreams come true? Yeah, make our dreams come true. Been a long time coming, but now we're here. So won't you stand up and show no fear? For the master, master teacher, freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. 'Cause he's a man of the hour. They kidnapped him for building Tamarack. He put his life on the line for us all. And for the truth, the lies must fade away. Fade away. It's been a long time coming. Yes, let's be strong. For the 7 seals are breaking. It won't be long to make our dreams come true. For a life that's new. Some are called and few are chosen. How about you? For the master, master teacher. Freedom 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 for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Think not that we are earthborn, we come from earth, we may be. We are life on spirit, and without knowing we can never be free. Knowledge of this was lost when we were cast into blindness. The master teacher came and broke the chains of bondage. For the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher.
Presented by myself, student teacher, Partner Bab Yanun, Baba Avatara Yanun. As student teacher of the master teacher, Partner Bab Yanun, Baba Avatara Yanun, it's my job to convey this information to the best of my ability. This is a question answer class. For those online, welcome. For those in the audience, in the class, in the store, welcome. For those for the first time on here as well, I bid you a good day, good evening, wherever you are. I go by the name of Ustia Ka'a Reye. If that's a mouthful, please just call me Ni or Kobina, because I know it's a mouthful. I'm just letting somebody in. We will open up class to our ancestors, as we always do, to bring them in and usher them in for their guidance and their protection. So we start our affirmation. It's called Patak Yud. Those who know it can follow, or I'm gonna actually, I need to share this, don't I, so that you can get access as well. For those who want to read on it. Tour. Oh, that was up. Okay. Can I be seen on Can I share that on thing for Zoom? Can I be shared as well? I'm gonna share this family. Let's quickly share screen. Okay. Right. Bonsoir. Naba, Notor, Mugdar, Naut, Mugdad, Baded, Bata, Naut, Mukras, Baded, Yanun. Aluki, Jawepa, Ashok, Emba, Baut, Ukalel, Ashok, Kawun, Jawef, Neya, Aluki, Kasangum, Emba, Baut, Upa, Baut, Kawun, Kasangum, Emneya, Aluki, Wahu, Ane, Baut, Upa, Baut, Kawun, Wahu, Ane, Neya, Nakuk Kador Najib Ame Kasangum Empa Baut O Kabub Ame Mushkasum Nakuk Kador Kawan Kalel Pafaf Nakuk Arut Jawef Pa Baut Ame Wase Ame Aradni Kawun Laye Bakoy Jawef Pa Baut Anuki Yabe Biye Nafashni Pa Baut Kawun Anuki, Pa Baut Kador Nakuk Kador, Pa Baut Amul Nakuk Amul. And it will continue in that manner, in that fashion, until the last chant is done. That chant is done in the C note, if I remember correctly. Okay, and the C note is a note that pertains to the cosmos. Okay, it pertains to the universal tone and frequency that you're made up of. So essentially, the natural tones and vibration of human beings pertaining to us as a race of people. When I say race of people, I'm talking about the Nagaru race. Every race has a particular tone and frequency that they're aligned with. Okay, we are aligned with the tone of, sorry, I beg you, Clubhouse, couldn't hear me. We are aligned with the tones of F, which is to do with natural nature. There's no A, which is to do with the body's notes. There's a natural note that you're known by. But that you vibrate on. Greetings, how you doing?
Recording in progress.
Thank you. And the C note, which is, as I said earlier, the note of the universe or the note of the cosmos. So you have these tones that you're naturally in tune with. If you know anything about music or how music notes work, you know that notes only vibrate on their own octave. What I mean by that is F note will only vibrate the F note, C note will only vibrate C, etc., etc. If you're a musician or pianist or violinist or anything that type of nature, you know, before you actually play your instrument, you have to check that it's in tune. Yeah, so everybody, can you agree with that? If you're a musician or somebody who knows about music. So what's happened is that us as a race of people are untuned, okay, from natural nature, from our original way of life, our culture, and many other things, our mental state, our frequencies, unaligned. So it needs a specialist, yeah, who knows about our body frequency, our nature, our way we think, the way we behave, the types of why we don't get along with each other. It needs a specialist, a doctor, to come and do some kind of operation. Okay, if you're sick, you can go to the doctors to get an operation. Yeah, so I'm just using analogies just to show you that the same things happen to us. We become sick, and we need an operation to fix us. And the way to fix us is by way of WU-SABAT, WU-NAWAPU. This is the spiritual science of our ancestors, okay? For over 6,000 years, we have been placed under a spell, a hypnotic spell of amnesia. And amnesia is, you know, somebody who forgets their place. Their brain gets scrambled, you know, and then they have, in order for them to remember, they have to rebuild those cells, those neurons and dendrites and axons, etc., in order for that brain to start reconnecting again. So likewise with us, our brains are being scrambled up, our DNA is being scrambled up, literally our whole being is being scrambled up. Don't worry, my brother, we'll get to you. Let me do a little introduction. Don't flow my flow now. Nah, just kidding. So yeah, so with that is that we need a specialist. So every 24,000 years, one of us incarnates, okay, and recognizes that there are these mummies that are asleep. That's what our ancestors refer to as. Anybody who's locked in a particular, entombed in their own bodies are known as mummies. So we as mummies are asleep, and it takes someone to wake up the mummy, yeah, from that dead state, that mental dead state. And this is what the being known as Baba Avatara Yanun is here to do, is to reawaken us. He's got many different titles he's gone over by the name of Dr. Malachi York, Imam Isa, Rabboni Bar Yeshua al-Hadi. Okay, these are the many titles that he's gone through. Okay, Amon Nubi Ra'ach Patah is another title. Tahutwi, call him Thoth in Greek. But this being, Yanun, that's his assignment. So he's here now to raise up the consciousness, okay, not just of us, but also of the planet, because the planet is under quarantine from a 6,000 year spell, and also a quarantine from extraterrestrials that have actually been here and have caused a lot of havoc and mayhem and destruction, okay, on the planet. That quarantine has been uplifted, been removed slowly by our ancestors, okay, who are known as the Nataru. These are our overseers that look over us. As I said earlier, every race has a warner and has someone here to guide them, okay? And this is our warner in this day and time. So I open up class with that, and should there be any questions, that's what he's here to do, and we are representative of that culture, okay? Yes. Oh, let's just close that. Oh, I'm out. Well, wait. So yeah, any questions at all online in the store? I'm sure you got a whole heap of questions for the sister who came all the way from found us. Yes, my brother, you got a question, and then this brother had his hand up first, so we just go to him. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, me.
Yeah.
So basically, you said.
Could you use the mic? Sorry.
Oh, yeah. So basically, you said something about
take off.
The script, our cells and our brains are all scrambled up and everything. How do you like restore it like back to how it was then, so that you could gain the
know who you truly are and stuff?
Yeah. How do you do that?
Okay.
Sorry, let me just come on phone.
Yes, please. That's actually domestics here. If you could turn your phones to silence.
There we go. Yeah.
That's okay.
So that's my question. Yeah.
Right. So the science of WU-SABAT, the science of WU-NAWAPU, is a spiritual science and a mental science. You with me? And it's a science of sound, right reasoning. Okay. The science of sound, right reasoning and the enforcement or the energy that pushes that into the universe and into the minds of people is 9 ether. So 9 ether is a spiritual science and a spiritual energy, okay? That once you start to apply the necessary formula through the information that the master teacher has put out, it's not just about just reading it, it's about application of it. Once you start to apply that to your life, certain things start to happen in your genetics. You with me? So it starts to recalibrate the DNA. It starts to re-heal you from the inside out and outside in. Does that make sense? Yeah. And obviously, what that comes with is discipline. You understand? Now, all of us in here have come from different walks of life, different parents, different DNA. You know what I mean? And so, because of that scrambling of DNA in our genetic gene pool, what's going to be remedy for you is not going to be necessarily remedy for me. You understand? But it's the discipline and application of this information that will set the record straight in your DNA. Does that make sense? Yeah. Yes, my brother. Sorry? Yes, please. Yeah.
You mentioned that we are.
Hold the mic and don't be afraid.
You mentioned that we were under a 6,000 year spell.
That's right. Yeah.
Not the spell. Who made the spell?
That's a very good question. So know that we have a 24,000 year cycle. Okay, for this planet. This planet goes through a 24,000 year cycle. It doesn't stop at 24,000, but that's the cycle it goes on up to perpetually. It just keeps going every 24,000 year cycles. Okay, so you follow that so far, yeah? That cycle of 24,000 years is broken up into what is referred to as a sun cycle and a moon cycle. Okay, so that's broken up into 4 quarters. Yeah, that's sun cycle, moon cycle, moon cycle, sun cycle, moon cycle, sun cycle. In the last 6,000 years, which was the moon cycle, which we just have started to come out of since 1970, okay, that was when the spell was heavily enforced on us. Now that spell is a spell known as Leviathan. Okay, Leviathan. You can look at Leviathan. It means something that's twisted and contorted. Okay, Leviathan is a spell that was cast on us by witches 4,000 odd years ago, roundabout.
Could you spell it?
Leviathan, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Leviathan. Leviathan. If you look at the first 4 letters, you see the word Levi.
Yeah.
Levi. Yeah. And that's when you look at the Levitical priests, that's the same Levi in there. And it means law. Okay. The word Athan is the word sin. So it's the law of sin. And that law of sin is 6 ether forces causing us to go against our very nature within our DNA. So we're literally perpetuating the forces of 6 ether. How we do that is by way of our behavior, our mannerisms, the foods that we eat, yeah, how we treat each other, etc. That is against our natural nature. Do you follow?
Yes.
Yeah. So this spell was enforced on us, and it's enforced in so many different facets of life that you just take it for granted. Do you understand? But I give an example of, for instance, let's just give McDonald's. Yeah. Let's just give McDonald's as even though one of these fast food restaurants, I should really say, not just McDonald's, just before I get attacked with what do you call it? Media attacks or whatever. Fast food restaurants, okay, put food, certain things in food. One of the things they put in food is carcinogens. They put sugar. Sugar is a very fast way of you disrupting your DNA. It actually disrupts your DNA and is cancer causing. So they put low refined sugar in foods. Okay, eating meat is another way of how your body, it rots in your system. You cannot process meat as a natural being. Yeah, because what you have to realize, human beings have to tenderize their meat in order to eat it. Meat is designed for carnivores. We're not carnivores. So that just shows you, for you to be softening up your meat, and cook it to the point where it's soft for you to digest it, shows you that's not what you're supposed to be eating. You understand? So these are the things that Leviathan introduces into the minds and hearts of society, and they think is normal. So they've made evil look fair seeming, made evil to look good. They'll put on a cigarette packet, smoking kills, but they still advertise cigarettes. They still like to be sold. You understand? So these are these different type of things that Leviathan does. Yeah, where it goes against your natural flow on your natural nature, and it kills you slowly. And then it comes, yeah, because what quote unquote, I'm going to use quote unquote, the devil does, yeah, or these devilishment society does, is that they say, well, you have your own choice, you know, you got what they call free will. So because all I do is just lay out the choices, you understand? And so when it comes to the time where it says, well, you did this and you did that, that devilish being is going to say, no, I just placed it there, and they're the ones that chose it, even though some of them knew it wasn't good for them. Does that make sense?
We told them.
Exactly. We told them, yeah. So don't hold me accountable. You're accountable. Yeah. So that's just one aspect. Leviathan's other aspect is religion. Yeah. So Leviathan creates 6 ether forces which incarnate into human bodies and create religion. So religion is another tool of Leviathan. It's one of the major tools, actually. Okay. And you see in religion, people fighting each other, killing each other over what? Wars and political wars, etc., fought because of religion or has a religious tie to it. Does that make sense? So that's what Leviathan does. So this is the law that this is the laws of sin, okay, that we're dealing with. Okay, those are known as 6 ether forces. Okay, does that help? All right. Any other questions? If you want me to elaborate, I can. If you're not, then we can go into, like, I mean, when you're dealing with Leviathan, 6 ether has a representation, a physical representation, and 9 ether also has a physical representation. So anything that is of a energy, when it comes into this physical realm, has to have a physical representation. Okay, so 6 ether, when it manifests itself in a physical form, is dark skin and woolly hair. Sorry, dark skin and straight hair, beg your pardon. Yeah. 9 ether, when it manifests itself in a physical form, is dark skin with woolly hair. Now, these are stages of death. So when 9 ether, which is the 9 ether is the all-encompassing gases, all the energies and everything is in 9 ether. But as 9 ether starts to lose its potency, it becomes 6 ether, and the formulas change. When the formulas change and the potency is weaker, 6 ether manifests. And then the same thing happens to the point where it goes to what's called ghostational stage. So you can look at 9 ether as coal. And when coal burns, it gives off a lot of energy. When coal starts to die, the energy potency starts to die and it becomes weaker and the fire starts to dim. That's like 6 ether. When the fire dims out totally and it's just ash, yeah, the death of that will be ghost. Does that make sense? It has no potency no more, but it still exists, but it just doesn't have any potency. So 9 ether would have life, and life will also have soul, while 6 ether lacks soul, and ghost ether is demonic. You understand? So these different forms of manifestations, they end up roaming the earth, looking for bodies to subsist off. And so another aspect of 6 ether is they get us to bury our dead. When we bury our dead, they call it 6 feet under, right? Ties into the number 6 in some form. But the actual person who's buried in the ground, the blood is still in them. Now that blood that's in them, when the body starts to decompose, it turns into gas. Anyone who knows about death or being, around people decaying, it creates gases. And that's what the gas you smell, which is the decaying body. Those gases are disembodied ghost form are attracted to them, and they subsist of this gas. So 6 ether lives longer in the atmosphere because of that. So in our ancient rituals and practices, we cremated, or we knew how to embalm, and we took out the certain organs, the most important organs from the body, the lungs, the brain, etc. because we knew that they rotted, and we kept in what is called canoptic jars,
Oh,
okay, with natron, so that it wouldn't rot. You understand? So these were practices that we knew, and then we put inscriptions on them to protect the dead. So all of these sciences we knew, because we knew that disembodied or spiritual forces could subsist of that gas and actually get stronger in the atmosphere. Does that make sense? Okay.
So they're still harvesting energy from the dead.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go. You know, you have to ask yourself, what happened to all those bodies in COVID?
Yeah.
What happened to them? Yeah. There's some people that do have one graveyard and they bury their relatives on top of each other.
Yeah.
But there's numerous some of the graveyards around the world where all the bodies go. Part of that is because extraterrestrials, they take bodies.
Okay.
You understand? And this is what we go into the extraterrestrial doctrine, that some beings, just like we eat dead flesh, so do other beings eat dead flesh as well. Humans. With their food, exactly. Yes, my brother. Yes, please.
Anthropology tells us that some 50,000 to 100,000 years ago, some people left Africa to populate Eurasia. And some people have suggested that they lacked melanin. So does that have a connection to the fact that they may be less than 9 ether or something like that? Towards 6 ether?
No. All races or all species on the planet had melanin. The intervention of extraterrestrials, beings from Pleiades and beings from Aldebaran, okay, were the ones responsible for the interception of genes and breeding into that gene their genetics. And that's what produced your Caucasian race. Different species of them.
Would you call that albino as well?
No, an albino is somebody who is affected genetically, just what I'm saying, or the chromosome becomes affected genetically and it manifests as an albino because the melanin is not processing properly. But the actual DNA, where they took the mitochondrial DNA, okay, and then what they did was these extraterrestrials, they were able to, because if you know anything about mitochondrial DNA, it's not like nuclear DNA. The mitochondrial DNA is a circle and it clones itself. It actually works off its own energy. Does that make sense? So extraterrestrials knew, they found that the formula that if they enclosed in their DNA, it will replicate by itself.
Yes, that makes sense.
You understand? So this is what they were doing. They were then replicating and then being able to then incarnate and be able to then be compatible with beings on the planet. This is how extraterrestrials are able to come into this world. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
So from that is the production of your melanin recessive race known as your Caucasian race. But all prior to then, all creatures on this planet were heavily melanated.
Yeah, the original.
Yeah, the original beings, yeah. That makes sense. And even if you want to go even further beyond that, when I even say heavily melanated, we were originally green. That was our color. And you can see it in what they referred to as Mongolian blue spots on babies. Babies are born with these dark spots on them, especially dark-skinned children. Yeah. And these Mongolian blue spots, they're very dark in color compared to the rest of the skin. And this is like an indication of your original color, either dark green or dark blue on a baby. And we then rusted. That's what happened to us. We rusted in the sense of when you deal with hemoglobin, iron in the blood, you have in the center of the original components of our blood chemistry was magnesium. Okay, but what happened was magnesium started to be removed as we started breathing more content of oxygen into our bodies. And oxygen with iron, it causes rust.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
You see what I'm saying? So we started to become from green hue or dark blue hue, like on the walls of Egypt. You see Osiris, and you see in India, you see Krishna, dark blue, etc. Then we became more brown and dark brown, and then we became known as Nagaru, which what means copper tone. So now we have a copper tone hue, okay, due to the mixture of too much oxygen and iron in our bodies. Well, originally, our DNA comprised of the magnesium molecule, more so than it does now. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. There's a lot about who we are.
Yeah.
There's a lot about who we are. Yeah. Any questions on Zoom at the moment?
I have a question.
Yep. All right. Just bear with us. Sister, ask a question and use Zamaltat. Okay.
All right.
All right. Tautat.
Because just yesterday I was listening to someone on YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
and they were saying that yes, people started off green,
Mm-hmm.
then they said red,
Mm-hmm.
then they said yellow,
Okay.
then they said black,
Okay.
and then they said white.
Okay.
That's the order they went.
Right.
So it's funny that you're bringing up the topic today.
Okay.
So give us the truth.
The truth of the matter is that
Is that how it went?
not necessarily that it wasn't just an order, it was a breeding process, yeah, that took place. But that breeding process, what most conscious community don't explain is how. Yeah, they say climatic changes. Yeah, you went into a climate and you changed, but then we've been in Asia or been in Europe for more than just 400 years, for those who don't know, because in every fourth generation, there's a genetic shift. But we've been in Europe for over thousands of years. So how comes right now, even in the generation that we've been on in the UK, there's been no shift to looking Caucasian? Is because they're missing out a key element, certain key elements. And one of them is that extraterrestrials were responsible for our creation or were interceding in our evolution at one stage. And it was over 9 billion interceptions to the point where we are at now. Because when you look at us, as I said, being green, coppers having a green hue, that was in our water state when we came in from water. Yeah, because okay. Earth itself is not a solid piece of material. Mm-hmm. It's water-based. It's an aquarium. You breathe in a finer film of what you call air, but it's actually just water. We're living in an aquarium. But prior to this land-based animal that we're physically in now, we were in the waters, and this is depicted in your gestational period of a baby. A baby lives in water for 9 months. Yeah, his lungs have not developed yet. So these are just our evolutionary stages. Now, when we evolved onto the land through various means, like there was a meteorite and tsunamis, etc., taking place, when they landed on the surface of the land or earth, parts of the surface that was created at that time or came up, they then, by way of DNA diversion, because it was in their DNA to do that. What do I mean? There's a gene in us called HAR1, HAR1, okay? And that is responsible for basically changing certain things. Yeah, it's known as the human accelerated region. Yeah, and that human accelerated region is a portion of the brain and also what the brain dictates to the body and how the body should be able to evolve, etc. So that HAR1 gene, it can adapt to any environment. So when we came on land as aquatic beings, we started to adapt to the air, or to the trees, to the swamps, to different various parts where we ended up at. You know, and then some places became desert, and we had to adapt to that environment. So this what took place. So during our evolution from the waters onto land, as we were traveling and migrating, extraterrestrials who have been visiting this planet, okay, saw us and literally took their pick. You with me? So they abducted and then did experiments. And the most famous one now that you hear a lot of stories about is the Anunnaki. Yeah, everyone's heard about the Anunnaki, now the Anunnaki. That's not their name. So let's just put it out there. That's not their name. It was an event. It's an actual event. The word means Anu, they're most high. Okay. Na, which means 50, who came to Ki. That's the name that they call Earth. Yeah, that's where you get the word Anunnaki. It's an event that took place. And many different species of Anunnaki came here to Earth. One of the experiments that they did was to take evolutionary man and bind upon them their own DNA and genetics to work for them. And this is where you get your Adam story. Exactly. Yeah, so they were initially, the people that were abducting was known as the Sans people. They were the ones that evolved from the planet originally, the Sans. So when you go and look at the Sans people, they have all the genetic traits of every human being, all the haploid trait. You can see the hippocampal fold, the dimple, the brows. You can look at all the different DNAs, and they'll tell you this anyway, that they carry all the genetic traits of every human being. So when the Anunnaki initially came, they were abducting them and using them. Then it got to a point where they had to shift from that because our ancestors were saying, cut that out. Yeah. And they then said, okay, well, if that's not, if we're not going to do that, then we're going to make a being that will work for us. And that became your Adam story. Okay. And this is where he's taking. So the shift in, complexion came by way of genetics extraterrestrial intervention, where the Pleiadians had a go, the beings from Aldebaran, the Pleiadians. Yeah, as I was explaining earlier, the Pleiadians that they depict in your images across the world on YouTube or websites, etc., that's not their image. That's what they project to you. Yeah, but they're pale skinned, have fangs, and they have silver to gray hair, and their eyes are clear. That's what they actually look like.
What about the Anunnaki? What's being called out there?
The Anunnaki are shapeshifters.
Okay.
So they can come in any shape or form. Yeah. So they appear to the original Africans looking like them, having dark skin, woolly hair, but they were very tall. Yeah. And the story of your Adam story, he was a product of these extraterrestrials taking the two tribes, okay, who were originally from the waters, and another tribe who had been a rape of the known as the Bataites. This produced your very tall beings. You see them today. It's just that you don't recognize that they're all descendants of these people. They're known as basketball players. Yeah. These very tall 7 foot to 8 foot basketball players, they are descendants of the Anakites, yeah, or some of them of the Riskians.
Hiding in plain sight, right?
They're hiding in plain sight, exactly. So these Anunnaki, when they binded their DNA into the matrix of these Adamites, one of the things that they did was they inserted certain things that would then manifest in the future, and that became your Caucasian race from that. Does that make sense? Yeah. But it was an intervention. It wasn't just a complexion of 1 minute there because it was cold, and then noses turned aquiline, and then the lip became thin, and then no, that's not how it works. Yeah. That doesn't make sense. No. Any other questions? Oh yeah, sorry. We got sister online, and then we'll go to you, Elder.
Yeah,
Sister?
you mentioned when a baby is born, they are surrounded by water. I wondered if a baby was born inside the ocean, would they learn to breathe the water, or would they just die?
A child is in water anyway, but obviously due to the delicacy of a baby when it's born, remember his immune system hasn't kicked in yet.
Mm-hmm.
So depending on how strong the baby is, the baby potentially could survive in the sea, the open sea. Is that what you're referring to, the open sea?
Yeah.
Yeah. Due to the content of salt and other things in the water, it more than likely may survive, it may not survive, but it all depends on the strength of that baby. So
Okay.
you understand? So it'd be best to have an environment that's conducive. Are you talking about like if there's like a shipwreck or something, or are you
No, just in general. 'Cause you said our ancestors had blue and dark green complexion, and I was wondering how it turned to brown. But you explained that we went
okay?
from the waters to the land. So,
Yeah, no, I mean a baby is really has the capability because it's already encoded in his DNA that if you put a child in water, it will literally start to learn how to float and swim because it's
mhm.
built in his DNA. You with me? It,
Yeah.
it's by way of our fear and our lack of trust in ourselves is why we panic in water and then we start to kind of like, get drawn down, get dragged down. Because I have that feeling. I'm not a very good swimmer. So I know that if I had started early as a child, from baby, swimming in the sea would be no problem. But yeah, babies are they're naturally in water for like 9 months. So it's not something that's foreign to them, if you get what I'm saying.
Mhm.
It's not alien to them. Okay. Any other questions? Oh yes, it's a few questions in the chat as well.
I just saw something on YouTube. People were making a comparison. The fact that apes and things like that, monkeys and so on, they have a white skin, they have fur, and they have thin lips.
Is that an accurate description of the species known as the Caucasian race? Is that what you're asking?
They were trying to make they were alluding to the fact that there's something similarity.
There is a similarity because the DNA was used. The simian, the porcine, and the canine was used in their graftation. So the simian, as what we call the monkey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Simian means monkey.
Simian means
Oh,
monkey.
okay.
Yeah. It's a Greek word.
All right,
So
okay.
yeah, the monkey, the Greek word for that is simian. Yeah, Simian, simian. Yeah, so the simian DNA was used. Why was it used? Because they needed a worker, okay, to work the mines.
Right.
They needed certain traits from that worker. If you know about the ape gene or the simian gene or an ape, it has the mind or mentality of a 7-year-old. Yeah, and it knows how to use tools. Okay, so they use certain engineering to create a child or a hybrid that was able to use tools. Okay, then you had the porcine gene. If you know anything about the porcine, when I say porcine, that's the pig. The original pig was the boar.
Yes.
Yeah, it wasn't because that's a domesticated pig we see these days, having no hair. The original pig was the boar, and the boar had tusks and and if you know about the trait of a boar or a pig, what does it do? It eats its own things. It eats its own flesh. It will eat anything that you put in its path. It will eat human flesh. It will eat anything. Yeah. So that was also to be able to survive in the filth and the mines, etc., where they were made to work. It could survive in that filth. So that's why they used the porcine or the pig or the souse. Yeah. And this can be proven even in their DNA because they actually have done transplants with human pig heart into a human. So it's compatible with them.
Oh yeah, that's something about that.
Yeah, that's a known fact. You can go and research that.
Skin graft.
Yeah, not even skin graft. This is actually like transplant of a pig's heart to a human. Yeah.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah. And but you're talking about the skin graftation, they can actually grow an ear and things like that on rats and things like that. Yeah. Yeah, but not to digress. Then you had the simian, porcine, and the canine. If you know that again, the canine is a domesticated wolf.
Yes.
Yeah, so everyone thinking that's it's a wolf. Don't feed that dog X amount of days, weeks, it will attack you. It will turn on you, want you for food. Yeah. So that canine gene is because the canine is obedient. It follows instruction. It will do what you tell it to do. It's loyal to his master. Yeah. So all these different traits they injected and input into the Adamite seed. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And they were then used to work the mines. Yeah. And to the point where the Anunnaki, there was two sections of the Anunnaki, the factions of the Anunnaki who were involved in this. One side wanted to see how the Adamite would evolve to the point where they would be able to become part of the Galactical Federation. Do you get what I'm saying? Because they could see the potential in them. Then there's another side known as that was Enki. If you know about the story of Enki and Enlil, yeah, Enlil, he saw them as filth, as beasts, and he wanted to destroy them. So when you read the stories of Noah, and Noah was told to build an ark, that was Enki. Yeah, in the Sumerian or the Gilgamesh epics, he's referred to as Gilgamesh. Sorry, not Gilgamesh, Utnapishtim. Yeah, that's your story of your Noah story. Yeah, Utnapishtim. So Utnapishtim, Enki protected his family, and hence he gave them certain secrets to survive, because Enlil was going to wipe the earth. Then that genealogy, that progeny, became your children today, known as Ishmaelites, Midianites, etc., by way of Abraham. Yeah, so they kept it in the bloodline. And Enlil also interceded, and he had his bloodline as well. This became your Yahweh and your Baal. And in the names you find Nehemiah, Ezekiel, Daniel, Judy, yeah, exactly. The Aya or the IAH at the end of it denoted Enki. Anytime you see L at the end, it will denote a thing. So sorry, it's the other way around. Anytime you saw Aya at the end, it'll be Enlil, and L will be Enki. So they had what's the word? An alignment with these two factions of extraterrestrial brothers. Okay, and today you see them in society and in organizations, etc., under the names of red bloods, blue bloods, Labour Party, Conservative. Yeah, you have two different sides, but this all goes back to the Anunnaki.
Same bird, different wings.
Different wings, exactly. Same bird, different wings, exactly. Yeah.
So,
yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I see you have a question.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, when I was like a teenager, I was puzzled by why Scottish people tried to refer to me as a monkey, and because some people said that human beings developed from monkeys in Africa, and then modern human beings
came from
in other continents. The polygenetic theory.
Okay. So, wait, now you know it's wrong, isn't it? I mean, even their own archaeological findings.
Yeah, but that was just a theory. That was just an ideological theory.
Exactly.
Not a real scientific theory. But I was very puzzled. I was very puzzled because I thought, well, maybe you're from a monkey, but I'm not. I think I'm different. Right.
Yeah. And you're right, because the planet itself, okay, is known as the planet of the apes. Yeah, because the creatures that are on this planet were actually of ape origin, and we evolved from the waters, okay, alongside with the apes. Does that make sense? Yeah. So what's happened is that through our evolution and the apes' evolution, somewhere down the line, beings stepped in and they mixed the two together. Do you follow? Yeah, but originally that's not what we were. We came from the waters. We came from the waters because our ancestors seeded this planet. billions of years ago with their own DNA. Yeah, and that goes into a project that was done known as the Rainbow Project and the Dolphin Project, and many other projects that our ancestors set up on this planet. And we originally came from the Sirius star system, okay, and the Orion star system as males and females. And then what took place is that this is going into what Partner Babylon is now taking us to. He's taking us back into the stars and our origin. Sirius C, there was Sirius A, Sirius B, and Sirius C. Sirius C was going to literally die. It was dying. And they were going to collapse that star. So the beings on Sirius C, the actual sun and the planets that are around it, they warned the beings there, just like what's happening here right now. Beings are coming, not just our warner, but other extraterrestrials. They know that this planet's about to renew itself. It's going to go through a lot of changes. And
what does that mean, renew?
Renew itself, well, like a mother or like the body renews itself. And what does it do when it renews itself? It sheds what is old.
Yeah.
You understand? So yeah. As a female, when she goes through her menstruation, she rejuvenates herself. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's the same thing happening to Mother Earth. Nature is rejuvenating herself.
Are we at the starting process of it?
We're at the beginning process, yeah.
Do you know how long it goes for?
Every 24,000 years.
Oh, so it's going
yeah.
on for that.
Yeah.
Time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've got enough time, yeah? No. What's happening is that there's a judgment placed on this planet. Okay? The elders are looking to see whether we're going to evolve enough to the point where we can, let's say, join the rest of the galactical brothers and sisters. Yeah? What's taking place is the Luciferians who are here are stopping us from evolving. So that's why a master teacher has to come to show you who is who. So if that evolution doesn't take place, they have to start again. They have to rewrite the planet, take those who are worthy, okay? Worthy in the sense of not because you just listened, but you've also applied what you've listened to. So listen to what the angel has to say, yeah? And that angel in this day and time is Dr. Malachi Zejok or Baba Avatara Yanun, okay? For us as the warner. So when this starts to happen, when this being comes, there comes a lot of calamities. So it's not a coincidence that there's earthquakes in Venezuela. It's no coincidence there's tsunamis and things happening, or forest fires, etc. Yeah, it's the war. When the warner comes, calamities follow. Mm-hmm. And other things that take place is that the Anunnaki are also returning. And they're returning, but this time when they return, they're going to be taking human beings. Because some of them are some of them eat flesh, and we are on their menu as food. Does that make sense to anybody? Yeah. It may sound far-fetched, but then we always give the analogy, look at farmers.
How do we not be on their menu?
Change your frequency. Okay. And through WU-SABAT, it changes your frequency.
So if you're 6 ether, you're right for the picnic.
Exactly. If you are vibrating on a particular frequency, okay. Animals sense danger or can pick up on your scent, okay? These extraterrestrials, the ones that consume flesh or are meat eaters or want you for a slave food, they pick up on your energy. So if your energy is not at a particular frequency, they're attracted to it. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's here, Dr. Marcus, you're here to change that frequency so that you can be on the right frequency, so that you can be protected. You see what I'm saying? And so this is what part of the information is doing, is that is recalibrating our DNA through the various chants, the language, the information, the application, the unity, most importantly, the love and the unity, because everyone knows that love is a frequency. if you understand the frequency of love, then it heals. The frequency starts from 528 hertz. You see it on most like channels, you know what I mean, when you go to music channel, etc. They say that love frequency is 528 hertz. So this particular frequency and higher, it actually heals DNA, it repairs DNA. The language frequency that we speak is actually helping to release certain hormones and into your body to heal your body. So it's not just a thing of, oh, you sound good speaking another language. It's actually recalibrating you because it's dealing with tones. Yeah, every tone is a musical note. That musical note, just like in, for instance, I'll give you an example. Yeah, we use the word rahubat a lot. So you have ra, ha, and ba. Those are your consonants, as it were, the root letters. Okay, that root letter, every letter in the language of our ancestors had a particular tone and it had a particular formula. You understand? So when we're speaking a language, it's a formula. Exactly. And that formula, it's doing something to your DNA. When you listen to music, just like how music affects you emotionally, same things, the language affects you emotionally. It recharges you, it reheals you, it secretes certain hormones into your body. It does a lot of things. Exactly. And the language that we're speaking now is doing the total opposite. Yeah? Okay. So, Zamata, I see you at the back there. Did you have a question? Or you just like smiling because you're just fascinated by this? My brother, yeah. Do you have the mic? Or no, there's a brother at the front who wants a question anyway, so go ahead. Yes, my brother.
Is applying the knowledge that you guys are giving us, is sharing it with someone one way of applying it, like not keeping it to
Yeah,
yourself,
most definitely.
like sharing
it's each one to each one.
Right.
Yeah, each one to each one. It's not about keeping it to yourself. What are you gonna do if you just keep it to yourself? It's like having a car, you know what I mean, in the driveway. Driving it.
Yeah,
that's the point.
I know it seems like an easy question. But I just wanted to,
No, for real. Your reasoning, and that's what we want, is that you use sound right reasoning. As you teach somebody, you're also learning, because sometimes what you put out, okay, it causes a loop, a feedback mechanism in your brain. Do you get what I'm saying? Which actually invokes more questions as you're teaching, and it actually invokes more memories, because
that's where the affirmation comes from.
Exactly, because as you're teaching, you're opening up your brain centers, and as your brain centers open, your hippocampus and certain portions of your brain start to actually awaken. So the more you study this information, the more you study and do your spirituality, your chanting, your this, your that, all the different applications that we've advocated is actually opening up brain centers. As your brain centers start to open, more non-ether frequencies start to come in, and it invigorates you. It makes your synapses and your neurons, okay, it fires more quickly, because when what we think we're thinking right now, imagine you on the 9 ether level, how quickly you'll be thinking, how quickly you'll be doing certain things, how you'll not be having to stop and think, well, if I do this, then this is the outcome. Oh, I don't like this person because every time I do that, that doesn't equate in your mode of thinking when you're working on 9 ether. Yeah, you just do. You understand? This needs doing. Okay, can I do it? How many people do I need to do it? Let's get it done. That's how 9 ether works. It's not about, well, I'll do it this next week Saturday and I procrastinate. That's 6 ether mentality, because 6 ether makes you just sit back. You understand? And wait for somebody else to do it. Yeah, it's the lazy gene. It's that lazy gene. Don't think that we've got it down pack, as we're all learning. So I'm not standing up here saying I've got it and I don't do this and I don't do that. What I'm saying is that I recognize now and I'm applying. And once you start to recognize and apply, it becomes easier and easier and easier. Yeah. And then yes, sorry, Mr. Martin. Yeah.
Can someone
I'll get to your questions online. I see quite a couple of questions, so I'll get to that soon, okay? Here's Martin.
I just wanted to know, when it comes to because you mentioned 6 ether. When it comes to things like mental illnesses and learning disabilities, include and like procrastination and all those. Well, you did say procrastination is 6 ether, but mental illnesses and learning disability, is that like a result of 6 ether, or maybe the parents were 6 ether and it passed on to the child?
Not necessarily the parents were 6 ether. Mental instability, sometimes when the mother's carrying a child, when a mother is carrying a child, she needs to be calm and at peace. Yeah. So if she's got an environment that produces that, most of the time the baby will be sound and quite balanced. You with me? Because of what she exposes herself to. If she watches too much horror, she's also now taking that horror into her very fiber of her being. And that gets translated into the baby, whether it's fear or whether it's, anger, or whatever images because remember, when a mother's carrying, whatever she watches, the baby's seeing too. I don't know if anyone was aware of that. Yeah? Okay, yeah, the baby's seeing everything that you're seeing. So it's being, exactly, it's recorded in the baby's matrix, in the baby's DNA. So sometimes you wonder, why is that child afraid of this and afraid of mice or afraid of spiders, etc.? It's because it's encoded in his DNA when you were carrying it. Yeah, exactly. So mental instability, a couple of things could be happening. If you have partners who are mentally unstable in their DNA, their ancestors, that gets passed on as well.
That's before you become a child.
That's when you say like this, the two seeds, the ovum and the sperm come together.
Right.
It's carrying the genetic blueprint.
Okay.
You understand?
Another question before you continue. Because I read somewhere, I watched a video that said when you have like partners,
Is this one of ours or?
No.
Just one for what? Okay,
yeah. So when you have like multiple partners, pieces of as a woman, pieces of the DNA remain in
precisely
a long period of time,
exactly.
Right? So you saying that when the sperm and the ovum of your current partner comes together, what about the DNA from those other?
That's exactly it. That's why we always teach about the genetic kiss. The master teachers talked about the genetic kiss, because the genetic kiss is that every DNA you pass on, you're not just passing on their genetic traits, you're also passing their spiritual ancestors into you as well. Does that make sense? So portions of that, and what a female, she can hold, or she holds the DNA and the spiritual aspect of that person for up to 9 years, because she's a being that takes everything in. She absorbs everything. The male's external, the female's internal. Does that make sense? So yeah, so from your first partner, if you have more than 2, 3, 4, they also become part of you. And then what happens is all those other parts of you, the mental instability, the sicknesses, then the happiness, and the good positive things, all get passed on to the child. You see? Now, how does that get triggered? Because it can be dormant. Yeah. The triggering of it could be by way of lights, energy, TV. It could be by certain foods that stimulate that DNA to be activated, or it could be an internal force of an ancestor who had that mental instability, and due to your low level of consciousness or your countenance, your anger, etc., it made that ancestor manifest. You understand? And when that ancestor manifests, if you're not strong enough, whether it's a stimulant or something that activated them, and you're not strong enough, they take position of the driving wheel in the car, let's just say, because your body is the vehicle, let's just as an example. So they take over and they start to control your life, and they dictate to you, etc. You're still there, you see what I'm saying, but you don't have total control until you start to work on your being, until you start to eat the proper foods, until you start to do better living and quality of life, and then practicing your spiritual aspects. That voice or voices start to get quieter and quieter and quieter to the point where you're in control now. Does that make sense?
Yeah. One last question.
To what?
How would implementing WU-SABAT into your life help with those mental instabilities?
Right. So these are forces known as mainly six ether forces, right? So when nine ether forces start to invade your mind or come into you, those nine ether forces, six ether has to flee. Yeah, so it's a bit like looking like summer and winter. Yeah, winter, nobody likes a winter, innit? It's all cold and this, etc. When summer comes, we're alive. So if you look at it like that, it's a cycle. And what you have to do is prepare for that cycle by doing the positive things until that cycle comes about. So you developing yourself, eating correctly, exercising, meditating, being around positive people, all of these are different ways of getting six ether to start to flee. Application, reading WU-SABAT, because when you're reading the scrolls or actual facts, etc., they may just look on paper, just look like words, okay? But there's a system and a formula that the master teacher has actually put in the books. And when you're reading it, it activates or triggers certain DNA that's dormant in you to activate your ancestors who work on your behalf. So there's a spiritual science in those books. It's not just a book that, yeah, I got it, I sound heavy, I'm reading 9 ether now and 9 ether being, but then you don't really fully understand what 9 ether is about. Does that help? Okay. I'm going to jump onto a question and I'll come to you, my brother. What actually happened in the last moon cycle before the religion story? So, in the last moon cycle, we were still going through the stages where we were losing our mental potency, okay? But it was the worst in the last moon cycle. So prior to then, imagine, like for instance, the decline of the Egyptian empire. There were certain empires that came and went in ancient Egypt, and the decline of their power was during certain cycles. So the last moon cycle, as we were ruling, it got to a point where we started to decline in mental powers and mental abilities and mental recognition of who we were. And as that took place, it got stronger. The event of that was the last 6,000 year moon cycle. So we were still functioning, but we were weaker. And this is the weakest in the last moon cycle that we just came out of. I hope that answers your question. Does that anyone understand that?
So every empire that's declined is because
these are cycles, yeah.
These are cycles.
Yeah. And the worst ones is normally in the moon cycle when 6 ether gases are prevalent. Yeah.
So the Egyptian empire must have had a mission or a role or a purpose to bring about the 9 ether world.
Yeah, most definitely. Remember, the culture itself is not from this planet. The ancient Egyptian empire or culture, known in that time as Tamare, okay, it was a culture that was brought here from the stars, and then it was practiced. So the renewing of our culture and our way of life happens every 24,000 years. So we were still living it, but it was just under demise. It was going out. It was phasing out. So the most of the, if you notice during the empires, you have the Hyksos came in. Yeah. You had the Persians. You had the who else? The Greeks, the Romans. Yeah. This was just showing you our powers were getting weaker. You understand? Because now they had more of an influence. Yeah, and through the influence, they destroyed our buildings and our temples and our books, etc. Took what they needed or wanted. We even entered them into certain initiates. They became initiates of certain orders. They took that from ancient Egypt, and they went back to their countries and set up philosophy and other, exactly. They set up all these different groups and societies, the Greeks and the Romans, So from all of these things, our highest level or plateau that we were living at is the pyramids. Yes. The construction of the pyramids. and being able to use the ley lines of the planet to generate electricity in the pyramids and generate electricity around where we lived. Because if you don't think that we had electricity back then, we did. Not in the form that we know it now with power grids, etc. You know what I'm saying? We were harnessing the energy of the planet. And the pyramids were actually constructed for that purpose. Yeah, imagine like a battery. The pyramids had certain stones and certain metals that acted as conductors, okay? And they actually drew energy from the planet. And they even charged up crafts that were coming visiting. They would charge them up. They would charge up like a gas filling station, as it were, a galactical gas filling station. So Earth was one of them. And what we don't realize is that there's actually a technology known as blast electricity. Blast electricity works by another level of water known as plasma. And plasma, when you heat it up to a certain point, becomes energy that is produced that extraterrestrials use to power up their crafts. So there's so much on this planet that we just take for granted. You with me? So Marta, I have a question.
Sorry. I wanted to ask as you ancestors came up. Now, you know you have your photo there of Dr. York.
Yeah.
How do ancestors appear to you when they come? What do they look like? Am I going to run out the room? Or I can say like appear as a zebra or a cat or something. Don't look like nothing scary. Like how would they appear? How do they appear to you?
That's a very good question.
And before you answer that,
yeah,
calling Dr. York's name a certain amount of time.
As in Partner Bab Yanun or just
come
Dr. York? Okay, yeah.
To you. What does he look like?
Well, the Partner Bab Yanun.
Yeah, is he gonna come looking like the picture?
Yanun will come as you see there.
As
he has appeared to many people in that guise.
Yes. Are we calling him?
Yeah. Don't worry. When the student is ready, the master will appear.
Right.
Yeah. And if you want to actually have a connection with Partner Bab Yanun, in the back of those scrolls, Zamal, is it possible to get one of the scrolls where it says up to Partarak, La Ye Pa Rawah and Pa Yanun? Yeah. There's an actual doorway where you can open a doorway to him if that's what you're seeking.
Through meditation, right?
That's through just chanting. Yeah, and he will help you with anything that you need help with in your life. So you have to make that spiritual connection. There were schools of thought known as the ancient Egyptian mystery schools. One of them was set up, it's called AEO, Ancient Egyptian Order. Unfortunately, when he was incarcerated, that got closed down until he's released. Yeah, and then when he decides, as and when we are ready, he will open up those schools again. But there was many people in those schools. Okay.
And as we're talking about that, do we ever have like a global meditation with all your schools all across?
Do you know what? We've had it in the past. We've had it in the past. What we do now, we do the chanting. So anywhere around the world, between 9 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and 9 p.m., and even 3 a.m. if you choose to, somebody around the world or some groups are chanting. So we're constantly covering the globe, yeah, all the time, all the time, yeah. And there's a chanting group if you do want to join as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So how do the ancestors appear?
Right. Sorry, I was gonna get that thing first, but right. So, your ancestors are energy. They're in the form of energy. So, depending on how sensitive you are to them, they will come to you either as an inspiration, or as an image in your mind, or as a sign. That's how they reveal themselves to you.
They're not gonna come and shake my bed or.
Some of them, depending on how strong spiritually they are, if they're spiritually strong, they can come and visit you and sit on your bed and communicate with you. Now, due to the fear aspect, the animal aspect in us, okay, which it kicks in the adrenaline, yeah, it frightens them away.
We both frightened.
Yeah, it frightens them away. And so what happens is that they will only come when you're in a calm state. You with me? The other aspect is that you have to meet them at a level, because some ancestors have, or relatives, some of them don't even need to even come back. They've done what they're supposed to do, and then they've moved on to higher realms.
Right.
Now, when you move to higher realms, the last thing you want to do is come back here.
Right.
So what they do is they meet you halfway. It's known as the mental realm.
Okay.
So the mental realm is where you get images and intuition and other aspects of them trying to communicate to you.
Okay.
And what you take that as an inspiration. This is done through the chanting, the meditating, and the visualization. So you can create an altar. Have you got an altar yet? Okay. So that's another thing we need to send to you then. So you can create an altar, candle, white cloth, pictures of your relatives that you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of them you may not know.
Yeah.
But they would have a link to those, you know,
Right,
that have transitioned before.
It's your great grandmother.
Your great grandmother, exactly.
So I don't know. I never had a picture. Don't know what she looks like. I
Yeah.
know a name.
Yeah, that's fine enough.
Yeah.
That energy alone is
Yeah.
fine enough.
Yeah.
So whoever you knew that has translated, okay, you can communicate to them, or translate or transition, either way.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
What if you don't know any of your relatives or anything? Any background?
You can do is as far as I know, okay? Because if you don't know, literally, you don't know nobody. Have you spoken to any of your parents?
I've been 1915, and
Right,
I
okay.
don't really know any bit of my heritage.
That's absolutely fine. You can do some research though, because as you start to investigate, certain things start to get revealed to you, because it's all about changing your frequency. You understand? So if you're really serious about this, as you investigate your origin and your relatives, and you sit in a meditative state with a sincere heart and mind, okay, look for the synchronicities in your everyday life. Look for certain messages. You with me? Because you're going to misinterpret quite a few things until you start to really hone in on it, okay? So start to trust your instincts. Start to trust your intuitive self. Learn to trust and accept that your ancestors do exist, for a start. Because if you don't even embrace that they exist, nothing's going to work for you anyway. You with me? It's a bit like an alcoholic or whatever. They have to admit that they have that problem. Yeah. So you have to acknowledge. Exactly. Being self-aware means that you're tapping into your soul. Exactly. Yeah. So now that opens up a doorway for them to now be able to, as you strengthen in energy and spirit, you have what is known as a spiritual link to all your ancestors, whether you don't know them by name or not. And as you meditate on this and you start to see certain revelations taking place, for the positive, obviously, yeah, then you acknowledge those positives. And then you kind of like reverberate it and thank them for what's happened. The more you do this, your frequency starts to expand. And as it expands, more of them will start to reveal themselves to you in different ways. If you don't have any images. Yeah. Yes, my sister. Hi, Rahuba.
I got 2 questions.
Okay.
No, I'm all right.
Just to let you know that Jock has had their hand up for a very long time.
All right. Jock, we'll get to you once we have that Zamaltat. Sorry about that. Yes, Zamaltat, go ahead.
What is your thought process or explanation for deja vu? Do you think it's
funny we were talking about that earlier?
Something that we've experienced already, and then, I don't know, like if you believe in your future self, or like your ancestors are telling you something that you should experience or learn from. And then, what do you think happens in our sleep? Because we've had some people saying that you travel in your sleep, and then your spirit comes back to you.
Yeah. Okay. So you found it? Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, total. So deja vu, the French word, just means a clear view. Yeah, that's what it means. So dealing with the aspect of you, the spiritual aspect of you, yes, you can travel. Your soul and your spirit travels to other realms or can travel to the past or the future. And when it does that, because it's on a higher vibrational frequency and it can move, it's not bounded by time. That's your soul and spirit is not bound by time. Yeah. And you experience these things in the future or that timeline, your body will then catch up. It catches up in the physical. So when you catch up, you have this recollection or this feeling that you've been here before. You understand? It is because your spirit or your soul has been there, or you have a past life, but you don't remember everything about that past life. But there's certain instances, areas that you may go to that reconnects back to your past life, because we've been here up to, you can come back up to 24,000 times. You can recycle. It ties in with the it ties in with the genetics and the genome of the planet, because the planet is a 24,000 mile circumference, but the actual DNA and matrix of the planet is linked to your DNA. You understand? So that 24,000 cycle is linked into who you are. So most of us, as the Master explained, we've been here up to 9,000 times. We've come back and have to perfect our being. So yeah, and that was the other one. The last one was sleep paralysis, right? So yes, your body or your astral being, your soul and spirit does travel. It travels through something referred to as a spiritual cord. Yeah, you have a spiritual umbilical cord, as same way you have a physical umbilical cord attached to your mother, you have one to the spiritual realm. And then you can actually project yourself into those realms and into those dimensions. And as you experience those things, what happens now is sometimes you may get caught up in that spiritual realm, and you get a feeling of, I can't get up. You have sleep paralysis. Yeah, you can't get up. You're forcing you're trying to speak and nothing's coming out, etc. Then all of a sudden you wake up with a gasp or something, because that gasp shows you that something's returned. Yeah. Now, the way that pulls you back is your adrenaline. Your adrenaline actually is a safety mechanism to help you and protect you from getting trapped in that realm.
Do entities intercept that sometimes?
Entities can intercept that at times, because your body is now a vessel. It's an empty vessel. Exactly. Yeah. It's an empty vessel. Now, beings can step in, okay, reside in a cell. They don't have to reside in your home. They can reside in a cell.
What are they doing there? They're harvesting energy while you're away or something? Or what?
They can do that, or they just reside there and wait, because now you become a host.
For what?
So they can use your body. Yeah, use your body.
They can literally go in you and you get up and you're away and they're walking around.
That's possible. That's what you call body snatchers.
Okay.
Yeah, that can potentially happen. Yeah. Okay, so that protection is by way of your adrenaline that pulls you back into your being. Yeah, and then all of us have ancestors or relatives that are in our DNA. You understand? And they can also influence the way we think and the way we behave. And then you have external entities that wait for an opportunity to enter into your body, because they're in a gaseous state. Your body is made up of pores. Okay, it's not solid. And these gases, these etheric gases, can actually enter into the pores of your body and go into your bloodstream and then harvest themselves in the cells of your body, and just wait for an opportunity, like anger or frustration, or even to the point where you might even, why do I want burger and chips? Also, I got a craving for burger and chips. Yeah. That's part of parasites, but parasites also demons. Yeah, exactly. Sending frequency. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. That's right. Yeah. Because in ancient times, demons or parasites were also known as demons or spirits, because they can influence the way you think. That's correct.
Demons in the flesh base.
Exactly. That's right. I'm going to jump to question. Who is it? Zamal? Or Zamal, or whoever had a question, their hand up. I can't see. Here you go. So, Jock, my boy, if you have a question, please ask away. If you're still there.
Rahman Jamal.
Rahman, Jock, how you doing?
I'm doing good. My question is about the Sirius star system. You were explaining about the Sirius C, but you haven't finished what's really happened there.
You
The
want to know?
other,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
And I
So
wanted to know what kind of beings exist in Orion. Is it only male or there's female there too? And also in Sirius B, only female exists there or there's also male there?
so initially, that's a very good question. What's been explained to us as thus far is males are from Orion. Okay, the DNA of males and the males are from Orion, and the females are from Sirius. Okay, so when the planet Sirius C star, was about to be removed or destroyed, they took the DNA for those who didn't, like say, evolve to their true potential as Etherians. They moved their DNA to various parts and pockets of the universes, and then eventually, from that Orion's belt, this where most of the extraterrestrials used to like harbor in that area. That was like a haven for a lot of extraterrestrials. They moved them from Orion, then the DNA, to the planet Earth and various other star systems or various other planets. So that's what took place. But initially, the females were from Sirius and the males were from Orion. This is how the order was, okay. And the only time we came together was the procreation. Do you follow?
Yes.
Yep. Yeah.
Yes.
So now, what happened was that the ones that evolved, they were able to move to higher realms or higher dimensions. The fourth, the mental realm. Some of them got to the point where they became Etherians, and they didn't need a physical body. And this is what we are being transformed into slowly, is that the master teacher is helping us transform to become those Etherians so that we can actually leave this realm as and when we needed to. Yeah. But we trap ourselves here because we do all these different things to our bodies and to our minds and to our spirit. And it actually stops the flow of energy that we need and require to be able to evolve. So the whole agenda is to get us to a point where we become Etherians. One of the reasons everybody sees now that summer's here, right? And you feel the heat, right? Okay. What about if I say in 10 years' time or more, it's going to get even hotter? Now, if you are an Etherian or more of an Etherian, you can survive that. Because as the energy of the planet changes, you're also shifting with the planet. So that's part of the preparation as well, so that you can evolve with a planet that becomes much hotter. Because originally, this planet was 10 times hotter or more than yeah, like when you go to Egypt, you ain't gonna, trust me, that place can bake. So, but as an Etherian, we were able to survive certain heats, certain temperatures, because we actually, the sun in our bodies is known as the solar plexus. You ever heard of the solar plexus?
Yes.
Yeah, that's actually a central sun, and that's where your ether is produced here. So that solar body that's inside you is also connected to the solar body outside, okay, known as the sun. That's right. And there's also an inner earth where there's also a sun in Shambhala. I don't know if anyone knows. Okay, so you go Shambhala, you go the inner sun, and then you go the outer sun, and those three are working in conjunction with each other. Okay, so we have to be in tune with all three because it's a protection as we raise in vibration and frequency. Yeah, so you have Shamash, the outside, or what we view as the outside sun, known as Shamash or Reye. I see Kosi and Jock. Does that answer your question? Yeah. And Kitora, I see you.
Yeah, the Sirius C. Explain more.
All right. Okay. And then you have So you have the outer sun, the inner sun, which is your solar plexus, and then you have the inner sun, okay? That's in Shambhala. That's known as Apsu.
So if you could say the first one again, sorry.
Sure, Shamash.
Shamash.
Yeah, that's the tone that we use for the sun.
Okay.
And then you have the inner sun, solar plexus, and then you have the inner sun, the inside you, then the inner sun in Shambhala. Yeah, that's known as Apsu.
Where's that located?
That's in Shambhala.
Located.
Located in the inner earth.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the inner
Earth's
earth.
core.
It's not the earth's core. The actual, there's a caverns, okay, before you get to the earth's core, there's caverns. And these caverns have ways to get to the inner earth. There's an actual inner earth where beings live and reside. Okay, so you know when we talk about nuclear wars and things that potentially might happen, it's not just us that's going to get affected. No, it can affect them. It can affect them because do you know anything about atoms and how atoms work? Yeah, atoms, when the energy of an atom increases, okay, the electrons shoot off. Okay, so as the vibration of, let's say, imagine an atom like an oxygen atom. It binds with another molecule, right? The energy has to be strong enough to release that electron. Just what I'm saying, in order to bind or move to a higher state. Okay, they're known as subshells. So these subshells, you have like 1, then you have 2, then you have 4, then it goes on. Yeah. So these are electrons in the atom. The atoms, if they're agitated to the point where it can cause a reaction, that reaction can cause a chain reaction. So the same thing as we look at the Earth and the planets in this solar system, if any major classic event happens, there you go. It causes a chain reaction.
It's like micronism and macronism.
Yes, exactly. So that chain reaction will cause other planets to be pulled into the sun.
Oh, okay.
And the sun then can nuclear and explode.
So it's planetary as well as...
Exactly. Yeah, galactical. So now the galactical brothers and sisters are looking at us to say if they push that button, it's not just gonna affect here, it's gonna affect other galaxies. So the beings are saying that ain't gonna happen because there's other life forms that are evolving or have evolved to a point where they now need to be part of the Galactical Federation. We're not gonna let these human beings destroy this.
Is that what the Luciferians are trying to do?
That's part of the Luciferian conspiracy, yeah. Is that they want to destroy this planet.
Who does?
The Luciferians.
Want to control basically the resources.
You call it quote unquote the devils. Lucifer. So these Luciferians, they have an intent, okay, and they have children on this planet. One of them, as we know, who's causing havoc around the planet right now. Yeah, I'm not naming their names. You know who. You know who. Yeah, he's about his work. That is your Luciferians.
They are.
Yeah.
They want to create.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Yeah, so Luciferians is just a title, but there's different factions of Luciferians. You with me? Just like you have, if you go to government right now, there's different departments. Do you know what I mean? But they all work for the government.
Yeah, they're all
exactly. Yeah. They're all together. Yeah. So let me go to Kosi and then Kitora and then Lorraine in that order. So Kosi, you have a question?
Rahubat Zamal.
Rahubat Zamal.
Rahubat Muisa. My question is, given the fact that the people presently living in the land of Egypt and they are claiming they built the pyramid, and there are also some Nubian people who always wants to discredit our works back in the days. My question is, who built the pyramid? I know who built the pyramid. was there any contribution other than the Nubian race to building the pyramid, and when was it built? Because when I was having a discussion, I was telling them that it was so long ago that I don't think that those races were existing back then for them to have built the pyramid. So what would you say about that?
Okay, so let's establish your question. So who built the pyramids, and was it the Arabs who now are impersonating as the original Egyptians? Is that your question?
No, like I know it is the black, let me say the black race, but the Nubian race who built the pyramid. But my point is, how long was it when it was built? And
okay,
I was making the point when I was having this discussion that it was so far back then that I don't think that those other races was existing. So is that the case?
No, that's absolutely right. But when you're saying, you see, race is really species. There's different species of Africans. The word species is dealing with the characteristics, okay, and behaviors. So when you're saying a characteristic, you're talking about their phenotypes. If you look at Africans have a different range of phenotypes, okay? We're all of the African race, but we have different phenotypes. So that's species. Just like you have the cats. Cats are, okay. Yeah, cats are like, you have the tiger, you have you have the puma, you have different cats, but they're all felines, if you get what I'm saying. Yeah. So in the species of the Nagaru, the African, there's different species of us. Now, yes, the original species on the planet over thousands of years ago, extraterrestrials from Orion, extraterrestrials from Sirius and other star systems, they taught their children, okay, how to build the pyramids. Or in conjunction with them, they built the pyramids. The original pyramids were built by a technology that we now use today called, what's the word for it? What's that thing that they use now? 3D printing. Yeah, 3D printing was originally used by extraterrestrials to build the pyramids. Then, as time went on, they showed the blueprint and the formulas to certain pharaohs, certain viziers. So, for instance, the step pyramid of Zoser, which actually predates most of the pyramids, one of the earliest forms of pyramids. You have pyramids, even like they now show you that they found pyramids under the sea or in the water. Sometimes we're just being submerged because the planet has gone through so many different changes that land has sunk, land has risen, sea has engulfed certain areas. So they're finding pyramids even underground or in the waters, yeah, in the seas, miles and miles and miles down. So there was empires here that were building pyramids. Our ancestors just happened to be one of them. Okay, so this was thousands of years ago. The carbon dating is when they look at the pyramids. There's something called sedimentary rock sediments. When you look at the rock sediments, you will they actually give you a timeline, okay, of what period of time these rocks were being used or have accumulated there. Yeah, in something called strata. Yeah, so the strata, you find like different types of rocks, and they can actually give you a date of how old these rocks are. So when it goes to the pyramids and the Sphinx, etc., they've actually looked at those rock strata, and they've been able to give an average date of over 10,000 years, 10,500 years. That's what they say. But in essence, is over 100,000 to 200,000, 450,000 years ago when the pyramids around the planet were built, because the pyramid originally acted as like I said before, electricity. They generate electricity through the ley lines, and they also built on ley lines to stable the planet, to keep the planet stable after it was hit thousands of years ago by the craft that hit the planet known as Nibiru. So they actually built pyramids in strategic places to keep the planet from actually coming apart. So that's another reason for the building of the pyramids.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, this is far older. There are records that are kept that have been passed down to certain spiritual schools of learning and certain orders. And these orders have remained quiet and have passed it on to their students. So from these orders, the being that we now have the opportunity to be amongst is known as Pa Nabab Yanun, who was there and watched these things happening. So he was a recorder. That's why they just show you as Tahuti with the beak and the pen. He records everything. That's his role. He records, and he also puts the names of those who are worthy into a particular book. So being as a recorder, he has seen these things. There's two Pataraks, part 1 and 2 that you can get. It's called I Was There, which is here. Okay, I was there, which is here. And in those books, he explains about the creation of, like, watching the creation of the Adamites, watching certain things take place, because he was the one that was seeing everything and recording everything.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's knowledge that is passed on that we are now having the privy of being revealed to us, of having been revealed to us. And that's by way of these actual facts and the master's secrets and Patarak. He's now giving us our story, not his story.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. So let me just finish. That's the reason why it's very hard, not impossible, but it's very hard to show our brothers and sisters, because they say, well, if it doesn't say in his book, do you know what I mean, then it must not be true, or he's made it up because it doesn't say in his book. But his book is after our books. And he will tell you himself that he has gone to Egypt, he's gone to Samaria, and he has documented our story. Do you know how many? If you ever ask to see the vault in the Vatican, of the amount of information that the Vatican has pillaged from around the world pertaining to our story, or if you go to the British Museum, or you go to the Belgium Museum, or to the German Museum, or to all these European museums, and you see for yourself what they've actually pillaged, because I won't say they borrowed it. They didn't ask us permission. They didn't say, oh, by the way, can we ask for permission to use this to show humanity that you were first? No, they stole the information. They stole our stuff.
Wow.
You understand? So that's what you need to present to your family as. This was stolen information that has been then regurgitated into the form of religion and many other things and fed back to us.
Wow, man.
Okay.
And they always use the fact that on the walls of Egypt they are showing different shades of black, and I was always also making the point that the archaeologists who were digging through those areas used to falsify and repaint the walls and all that. So
that's part that is true. The other part is that we do have different hues and shades. You understand? We do have different hues and shades. So we can come from the darkest blue, black hue, all the way down to like the copper tone or light skin. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, for instance, when you go to Zimbabwe or South Africa, they have some of them, like the Sans people, have had no mixture, but they look golden brown. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah, it's because through our evolution, there's just certain elements that they have which makes them look that way. And then ones that are darker skin are more in the Sudanese and Ethiopia, you understand, who have the blue-black hue. So we have a variation, a generation of different hues and shades to us. Okay. Antaka Theater 4 Zama. So Mugda, I see you, but I got 2 online and I'll come to you. Right, so Kitora and then Lorraine.
Hi. I was
Rahul,
Rahul, but I was just wondering, what do dreams like necessarily mean? Because about a week ago, this male presence had his hand on a tree and he like motioned me to come forward. And when I touched it, it felt like I got like in a trance in a way. And then I just suddenly woke up and I just didn't know what it meant.
so Zamata, you said you had a dream, and there was a figure in the dream, and you, when you came closer, or they beckoned you closer.
Yeah, to touch the tree.
Right. Okay. One thing with dreams, Zamata, is we have always been given the instruction, and even the master said it many times. He can't. He would never try to interpret your dreams. You have to be patient, unless he was in the dream with you.
Mm-hmm.
He'd be able to explain it to you. But if he wasn't there and that was your personal experience, you have to kind of like look for the synchronicities or the messages as you're developing your spirituality. Best thing to do is journal your dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Get into the habit of journaling your dreams. Once you start to journal your dreams, again, it's all about the awakening of your subconscious mind. And it's also about the expansion of your mind mental frequency. The more you journal these things, the more things start to reveal themselves to you, and the more understanding you gain from them based on your experiences and based on your past, or based on certain evidential things you may come across. Then your brain will start to actually piece the puzzles together. But we don't interpret dreams, and we don't really explain other people's dreams.
Okay, so dreams are just like messages to you, like you solely.
Not necessarily all dreams are messages to you. Some dreams are the brain's way of dumping rubbish. So,
Mm.
so for instance, just like a hard drive, you have to purge unnecessary deleted items. It's the same thing with your brain. What your brain does, as you awake, your subconscious mind, okay, your brain collects all the information that's in your environment, and it stores it in your subconscious mind. So you may watch a movie, you may interact with friends and family, something that may have happened made you feel excited, etc. All of this has been encoded and recorded in your subconscious mind. So what happens is that if you dream, and you may have some kind of emotional trigger that affects you, it's your way of your brains trying to remove that unnecessary garbage. And then when dreams become quite vivid or they repeat themselves, that's more of a vision.
Oh.
Yeah, so if it keeps coming, then that's a vision. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That same with a nightmare then? Is that dumping loads of stuff?
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's like a nightmare as well. Yeah, so nightmares are on the same basis as well. I'm going to jump to the question in Reyes Ananda. Actually, okay, no, first we'll go to Lorraine, then we'll go to the text messages, the chats. So Lorraine, Rahubat, and please state your question.
Right. My turn is the Korean.
Sorry, Lorraine, but you're choppy.
I'm
It's coming in choppy.
choppy.
Yeah, you're coming in choppy.
Okay, why? You can now.
No, it still keeps going in and out.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm not question the time. I don't want to distract him.
If it's not a long question you have, you can put it in the chat, and then we'll try and get to it that way. Yeah.
I'll next.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I think I just about heard what you said. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Try and put it in the chat, and then we'll try and get to it. So there's a few questions in the chat. What actually happened in the last moon cycle? Speaking of music, what kind of music does a Nuwapian listen to? Very good question. It's a range of music that you can choose to listen to. Parnabab Yanun explained that if you listen to music from your childhood, that actually rejuvenates cells. If you listen to music that has more soul in it, that also helps to rejuvenate cells. and keeps you more in tune. So soul music, you know, people like the Commodores, Otis Redding. Come on, you name some more. You know, keep it coming, keep it coming. Yeah, all of these Temptations. Yeah, Earth, Wind and Fire. Yeah, who? Dennis Brown, reggae. That's right. Yeah,
what about some new ones? Like someone said I would know.
Right. So the so modern day music, unfortunately, is okay. It's good to listen to, because I listen to modern music. Most people listen to modern music, but it's more advisable.
Hello.
Hi, Rahul. We'll get to you. Who's that? Could you mute your mic, please? I think you may have just unmuted your mic and you're coming through. I'm just answering a question, and then we'll try and get to your question. It regenerates the brain cells. Yeah, so memories and stuff like that. Yeah, so back to what you're saying. Yes, modern day music is not as close to the natural music. Is advisable. Sorry, could you mute your mic, please, whoever it is? Appreciate that. Administrator could mute that for us. If you can find out who it is, we appreciate it. Because I can't see it. I think that's okay. Yeah, so it's more advisable to listen to music that's more closer to.
Oh, but you muted Zamal was here too. Zamal was here, you're muted.
No, it's all right. Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I'm good now. Yeah, so it's best to listen to music that's closer to natural nature. Essentially, we should really beginning to listen to like music that's is stringed music or wind music. So things like acoustics and things like that. Try and
Sorry, string and wind.
Yeah, because it's closer to natural music or natural nature. So it's like you include that in your selection of genres, and then you start kind of like moving more towards that kind of natural form of music. You understand? So we're not saying that don't listen, because we don't tell you to don't do anything, but by natural nature and by you listening more and more to like music from places like for instance, I listen to Malian music a lot, because Malian music is they use a string instrument called a
Malian.
For music from Mali, especially the kora, the natural acoustic kora.
I wanted to ask about the kora. Is it really an African?
Yeah.
Is it influenced by Islam?
It's Egyptian. It's an Egyptian instrument. If you go and look at the instruments of Egypt, they actually have an instrument that looks like the kora, the one that you see today played in because this is a tradition that was passed on from family to family.
Yes.
And only they sat in the royal courts of the kings and queens, and they'll play to them. So that particular traditional instrument is passed on from family to family.
Wow.
Yeah. So essentially, do your best to listen to, get a balance. You know what I mean? If you listen to hip hop and those things, try and sway away from. Try to do your best. It does. You enjoy it, because I was a hip hop head. Listen to all of them.
The lyrics are really important to the frequency.
It's just the frequency of the beats and stuff. Because as
what they're saying.
It depends on what they say, because if they're saying positive stuff, it's positive stuff. There's nothing you can refute. But it's a frequency. Most music, especially if you put headphones on, and now you got these wireless headphones, they're on a particular frequency band of 800 to 900 hertz, which, funnily enough, is the same signature of your 9E3 cells in your brain. So I'm saying, so there's certain frequencies that they know can actually, like a microwave, it cooks meat. Yeah, it can also denature the cells in your brain.
Is that from the headphone itself?
It's from the headphones themselves, yeah. So why, especially the wireless ones, but even headphones themselves, depending on what you're listening to, keep it at a volume that is audible. If it's too loud, that means you're killing brain cells, or you're killing the cells and the very fine hairs in your ear. They're on the cilia. So what these cilia do is every sound that comes into the ear's canal is picked up by these cilia, and it creates an electrical current that passes into the eardrum and the cochlea, and which then is registered by the brain as sound. So, but yeah, sure. So you have the incus, the stirrups, the eardrum. You with me? And the cochlea. You have different parts of the ear.
Yes.
Okay, but as music travels as a wave into the eardrum, if you notice, the ear is shaped in a particular way. You with me? Because they're shaped in that so they picks up sound. Okay, and if you also look at it, it looks like a womb. If you go and study the ear, it actually looks like the shape of a womb. Yeah, that's another thing. But in that, electrical signals are created, which is then formed as sound in your brain. Okay, passing through the different stages in the ear. All right.
Okay, so what if you're listening to? I think you mentioned that the frequency of the sound that we as Walkins listen to is 432?
528 hertz
528.
frequency, yeah.
So if I'm listening to that at a high volume, is that still bad?
Yeah, you shouldn't really listen to anything high volume. Really, you shouldn't. You should listen at an audible volume. Yeah. Yeah. So what happens is that frequency is a frequency response to your DNA, that 528. Because your DNA vibrates at that frequency and higher.
Okay.
You understand? Yeah? So the cells start to resonate at certain frequencies. If it's below, like the A note, for instance, the original A note was 432. Then they shifted it up from the 1940s, in line with the Philadelphia experiment, it got shifted to 440 hertz. You understand? So 440 hertz is actually a detrimental thing to your DNA. It's what's called dissonant frequency.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. So where are we now? It says speaking, right? Music. Does more listen. So we listen to, yes. So I said more natural acoustic music is what you should try and listen to. Were the Sounds people on Earth before crash of Nibiru? Yes, they were. Not the Sounds people, but they were aquatic beings that lived in the waters. The crash of Nibiru was 450,000 years? Yeah, 450,000 years. But we've been here billions of years in the water. Yeah. One of the wings, yeah. So one of the wings of Nibiru crashed into this planet. But yeah, this was 450,000 years ago and a bit more when that took place. We have been on this planet for billions of years.
Sorry, could you just repeat for me, how old did you say the pyramids were? You said 100 to 400,000 years, did you say?
Yeah, 100 to 450,000.
450,000,
yeah. So it's in alignment with when the beings were coming here, the Anunnaki, etc. They set up what they call in Mesopotamia pyramids. They call them ziggurats.
Yes.
But they're pyramids. Do you see what I'm saying?
Okay.
Remember, the word pyramid is a Greek word from the word pyramidos. So you're saying pyro, fire, midos, middle fire. That's what you're actually saying when you're saying pyramid. Yeah, and it was regarding the actual shape, okay, of the nose. That's your natural pyramid.
Yes.
Because you breathe in energy known as sacham, energy that is actually drawn into your nostrils, and it charges up and infuses your blood and charges at your solar plexus. So that sacham is by way of the middle pyramid, the nose. Okay, this is where actually science is coming from. So the pyramids had that same thing where they drew energy from from the earth. Yeah. So, but there's a Greek word, pyramidos.
What's the original name for it then? It's the Greek word.
Mir.
Oh,
M-I-R.
okay.
Yeah, Mir.
Oh, Mir.
Yeah. So we say Mirat for pyramids, or M-I-R, Mir.
Mir.
Yeah. And in ancient thing they call it ziggurat.
Ziggurat.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure it's even Arabic.
Something to do with the cigarettes, though, and something to do with, I don't know. That's something to do with the smoke or something.
Talk about basically the umbro, the cigarette packets.
Okay.
They've got pyramids on them.
Really?
And it's something to do with giving some smoke offering or something like that.
Really? I have to check it out. I have no idea. So look, let's just. That's okay. Yeah, yeah. The brother in the back now. Go back to the chat, and then you, sister. Ziggurat. Oh, Mirat. Yeah. Mir is M-I-R. That's for singular, and Mirat, A-A-T, is for pyramids or plural.
Is that not the name for Egypt in some language, in Arabic language? Mir. The word Egypt in another language.
Is it? I have no idea. That I'm not familiar with. You got Tamaray, you have Patanun and you have Thebes, you have Tamunefuset, but I've never heard the term Mir for Egypt.
Oh, okay. Maybe I got it mixed up with something.
Yes, my brother.
What are the Riskians?
What are Riskians?
Yes.
They are etheric beings, the energy beings on a very high level. Non-etheric, they're basically pure energy. Okay.
What is our connection to them?
Right. So the Riskians, that's the planet that they're from, is known as Risk. There's just like on Earth, we're all earthlings. Do you follow?
Yes.
On their planet, any species on that planet is known as a Riskian. But the ones that are responsible for our creation and the ones that are responsible for our being alive and receiving energy and vitality is from the Etherians, who incarnate into a body or can change their molecular structure and shapeshift into any being that they want. Do you follow? Yeah. So these pure energy beings, one of them is this being here, Yanun. He's an Etherian. That's why when you look at the craft, that dome shape is actually a craft from the crystal city. They use crystals to power their crafts. So this being is a pure energy being of crystal green energy, known as the green one, or in Arabic they call him Al-Khadir, because he harnesses that crystal energy of healing. So this Yanun, as an energy being, an Etherian, incarnates into the body of Dr. Malachi Z. York and becomes Pa Nabab Yanun in flesh, an Avatara, an Ilamuta Jasid. You understand? Just like you had with Buddha, just like you had with Krishna. Yeah, he was an incarnation of Vishnu. Do you understand? So you have different beings or societies or cultures who had etheric beings or beings on a higher realm that would incarnate, and they would teach their own and raise them up in consciousness. And that's what this being is doing now, this etheric being known as Yanun. Do you follow? Yeah. You're welcome.
Zamal, Rahubat.
Zamalta, before you answer, I've got...
Okay, go on. No, I wanted to ask you the same question that were you talking about there now.
Okay, let's stick on the subject. Go on.
Okay, so where they're the etheric beings, they're still also from the 19th galaxy as well.
They reside in the 19th galaxy, but they can reside in any galaxy. The 19th galaxy is like, you know, like you have your indigenous home, and then you have other homes that you can relocate to. Take care, sister.
Okay.
It's a bit like that. So question from Reyes Sananda. Are those in the brotherhoods and sisterhoods going to come clean that they're watching me because segregation is 6, ether and WU-SABAT is about truth? So let's come together. Okay. Are those in the brotherhood and sisterhoods going to come clean that they are watching me? Okay, right. That's not the forum for this, but I get what you're saying. Okay, so why do we have brotherhoods and sisterhoods now if our master teachers stop them? Well, if you were in the brotherhood, you would know, my brother. But no, the brother has not actually, Partner Babylon has not stopped the brotherhood. We're still functioning. And there's things that obviously are privy to us as family and Sabians that we cannot discuss on the national forum. Okay, but you have an opportunity as a Sabian on a national call that happens at the end of the month. If you feel that you're a Sabian and you want to, as you know, progress and to make changes in the world, then you can tune into that and you can ask your question to the panel on that forum. But because it's a question answer forum, we're going to stick to the question answers dealing with that. And then any family type stuff or national type stuff, you can ask in the national call. I hope that makes sense, my brother. Rahuba Tehuti Akenreye. Question, what's the essence of using a white cloth when setting up an altar as opposed to a black cloth? I think the representation of that is just that we use a white cloth. Good question though. I guess representing purity. But I haven't actually asked that question. I could ask that question. I'll ask that question to certain brothers and sisters, but that's the cloth that we do use. Okay, but very good question. Last question, and I'll come to the audience here. Question, would your ancestors reveal or try to reveal themselves as animals like Rahul Wadu, like lions or others in a dream? Again, I wouldn't know. The master teacher hasn't really expounded on that aspect, but that's a good question that we can pose to him. He may have answered it to other student teachers, and feel free to post it. If you're in the OSM Ask Us Anything forum, you can pose that question in there, and if one of the student teachers has an answer, they'll be able to give you an answer to that. Okay.
What is the difference between Tahuti and Shashat?
If you could please use the mic.
Yeah, what is the difference between Tahuti and Shashat? I hope I'm pronouncing that.
See, Shashat, in what sense, Amata?
Because you mentioned that earlier that Tahuti was a writer and he obtained a lot of knowledge.
Oh, right, okay. He's a recorder. So Tahuti is a recorder. Yeah, Shashat is the writer. You with me? So it's like various aspects of the different there are various aspects and different principles that we have in us. You with me? So Sishat represents that as a writer. You with me? There's much more deeper meaning, but as I said, Pana Babyanun hasn't gone deeply into it. He just explained the principles at the moment. But those principles can apply to you as well because you exhibit those principles. You with me? Just like if you're known as Maritat, that means you're very loving, or you have a loving nature. You understand? If you are Ranantat, you're a person that is a nourisher. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's just different qualities and aspects of your nature. So if you find yourself that you're a writer, then you add that name to your thing. But he hasn't gone into the inner, deeper meanings, unless AEO is opened, and that's where you get the more mysteries. Okay. A very good question. Another good question. What's the scroll that breaks down the Catholic into the holistic, and kindly elaborate on facts and evidence around it? Okay. that scroll is called Is There a Curse on Blacks? And also what goes into it? The religion, the birth of religion. I think that goes into the birth of religion as well. So essentially what the master is explaining here is that the cat represents the Sphinx, okay, Pauruti, that was originally the lion that looked into the hemisphere of the celestial abode, okay, and represented a particular age, and which was the age of Leo. So when the Romans and the Greeks came and they saw that it was holy to them, it became a holy emblem, or they said that we worshipped it. So that's where the word holistic or Catholic came from, that because they venerated that particular symbol, and it became part of their religion based around the principles of the Sphinx and what it represented, in the sense of that it represented an age in the celestial abode. Okay, because each age, like the age of Leo, represented 2,000 years. The age of Pisces represented another 2,000 years. These were cycles that went counterclockwise. So it's actually referring to that as being portion of what they took and borrowed and led into the Catholicism, which was basically borrowed Egyptian mysteries, which had been watered down, okay, and then infused with 6 ether forces. So I hope that answers your question on that one. What's the relation with the new souls coming here in the first half hour in the past lives on this planet? Right, let's read that again. What's the relation with the new souls coming here in the first half hour and the past lives on this planet? I'm slightly confused with that question. Past lives of people here, or yeah, I'm not fully understanding that question, because that's two different incidences where new souls have come here.
Can I clarify my question?
Yes, please. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead, my brother. AH, you gone? AH? All right, we'll wait till you come back.
Yeah. Hello? Do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
I'm sorry. What I was asking basically was the relationship between the new souls that were coming here and the past lives that people already had on this planet. Is there a relationship between this?
Yeah. What kind of relationship are you? Because relationship is quite broad. So.
Well, we were talking about basically time traveling, that your soul can travel to the past or the future.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm experiencing often is like what people call deja vu, like basically jumping to the future. And you said earlier that it's a proof that you had a past life, if I'm correct by this.
So, right, I follow. Right, okay. So what I was explaining is that the soul portion of you, okay, because it's not bound by time, or in that sense, it can experience different events which are relayed as a timeline, okay? But these events that sometimes certain past lives that you may have lived can resurface as memories, or there may be somebody that you may meet in this life that you knew from a past life, but you can't connect the dots. You can't connect the dots. So it seems like, I know this person, but I don't know where from. It's potentially that you knew them from another life. But because you're in a new life, to avoid the confusion and let's just say the mental your mental faculties from being kind of like scrambled or unbalanced. You're protected in a way so that you don't have a momentary relapse, as it were. Because imagine if you start to remember all your past lives. Imagine if you start encountering all the people that you knew from your past lives. That will send you crazy. Do you understand? So the elders or the ancestors, they what they do is that you start with a new disc. Okay, so that when that disc is recorded, if you are born back here again, it doesn't kind of like mesh into the old one, which can cause instability, mental instability, etc. Do you follow? Lamar, are you there?
I follow. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah. So
what are the new souls then coming here really?
What the new
were yes.
From 1970?
Until the year 2000, I think, if I remember.
Yeah, so these new souls, they're sent here to help rebalance the planet. That's what their job is. They became, some of them became the hip hop artists. Some of them they got basically wayward. They went wayward because every new soul that's born, or new, especially golden children, mostly. That's more predominantly what the master is explaining to in the golden child. Okay, when golden children are born, there's also a fire child that's born. So essentially, their job was to actually how can I say, help to recalibrate this planet, help to get this planet back on course. That's what their job was. But as time has gone on, they've been swayed off the path, and now they're living in the image and likeness of these Luciferians. So because of the fire children have pulled them away from what their true purpose is. Okay, but new souls that are born are just new souls that are here to learn and experience. So most of us from 1970 are new souls. Okay.
But not everyone from 1970 until 2000 is a new soul, right?
That's right. Not everyone, exactly.
All right. Okay. That's what I was struggling with. Okay.
Yeah, that's why I said that you may be born and you may have past lives, because not everybody, not a new soul, do you get what I'm saying, would have a life that is literally like a fresh start, as it were, like a new baby. You know what I mean? A new fresh start. Yeah.
Correction. It's 2073 to 2003.
1973. Yes, 1973 to 2003. Is that right, Zamal? 1973?
Sure.
Yeah, 1973. Okay, there's another question, Ray. I'd like to know under whose authority the OEO was to be rebirthed. Did our master teacher say it was okay to resurrect it? And whose charter is it under that the brother Masons and sister Masons belong to? I'd like to know. Again, my brother, if you're seeking this information out, seek it through the right sources and the right channels. You can contact me and we can have that dialogue. Okay. And then, if you're seeking entrance into the brotherhood, that's another conversation to be had. Regarding AEO, Partner Bab Yanun is the one that has closed it down for now until further notice. And I'll leave it there like that because there's many works to be done, and we'll cross that bridge when we get there. We poured limestone, cement, measured like 3D printing, yes, and we washed them down with acid to carve the bliss. I'll tell that for your input. The Vatican has some of our arcs, crafts, and bodies. Yep, truth is truth. Yep. Okay, it's Ray Sananda. My girl from our path, right? Right. And few minutes later, after Zamal Reye addressed my question regarding music, I saw a notification of YouTube video by Dr. Malaka about music and tones downloading. Mind you, I did not download the video, but I downloaded itself automatically. Crazy. Okay. Total tap for that Nahun Natun Tawat. Okay, any questions in the chat? Any questions in the audience? Yeah. Yes, my brother.
Yes, okay, go.
Okay. Yes, Amalta. Rahubat.
Yes, you're talking to me, Jamal?
Yes, I am. How are you?
Okay. I'm fine. I'm trying to do my best here. And how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Okay. Is your nose is only the shape of the pyramid on the body, or you have other shapes on your body look like the pyramid as well?
The structure of the nose, if you were to look at it, it's in the shape of a pyramid. The other aspect will be your third eye, which also is in the shape of a pyramid.
The third eye you're speaking about?
Yeah.
What about your body? What about your body from your head go down?
In the shape of a pyramid, that I'm not aware of. I've not come to that breakdown or explanation.
Okay. You look at the 6-pointed star. It's not that the way how our body shaped as well?
What the 6-pointed star? Yeah, the 6-pointed star are two pyramids overlapping each other. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But I don't know how. I mean, the correlation to the body, it's more to do with the brain and as above, so below. So you're looking at the brains having like a mirror of. Yeah. In fact, if you look at, I don't know if you can see it, or you won't be able to see it on the call, but we have like a podium that has two pyramids, okay, that meet in the center. So the 2-point total. If you look at the picture to maybe your left or my right, but you can see me standing there and you see the two pyramids, okay? Those two pyramids represent as above, so below. One represents the mental and one represents the physical. So as you build from the mental, it merges down into the physical. So that's what that represents there when you're looking at the two pyramids. Okay?
Okay, I understand.
Yeah. So it's about the mental to the physical. So everything you do, it starts from the mental first.
It's literally like a sandwich, right?
A what board, sorry?
Is it like a sandwich?
A sandwich.
A sandwich.
Oh, sorry. I beg your pardon. Yeah.
No, it's all right,
Yeah, it's literally like an hourglass, a sandwich. That's right. It's a clock of destiny. It's literally is the clock of destiny. So as the time ticks, you with me? Yeah, it's like even your thoughts are, it's a mental frequency. Everything's measured by mental frequency and time and measurements. So it's the same thing as above, so below. There's things happening as a frequency in the mental, which then comes down here into the physical, and then is measured as according to how time is measured in this realm. But yeah, it's literally like a time clock. Yeah.
I want to talk to him. I say now overtime when it says so up above, so below.
There you go. Tauta, I'm glad you do. Any more questions? You said you had a question, my brother? Yep.
So at the beginning you said we're at the beginning of the sun cycle and everything. Is that connected to a mass awakening?
Sorry, could you just?
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
The sun. You said we're at the beginning of the sun cycle. Is that any connection to a mass awakening of many people where they're awakening their third eye, their pineal gland?
Most definitely. Most definitely true. Yeah, because the sun cycle brings in energies to this planet, conscious energy. And as those conscious energies starts to come to this planet, it elevates you. Yeah. And that elevation is also dealing with the decalcification. decalcification of the pineal gland. But it takes work, because people think, oh, I don't, it's just going to happen naturally. It will happen naturally in our children, because once we start it now, in the third, fourth generation.
17 is where they start being calcified.
No. It starts even before then. By the age of 7. Yeah, because what happens is when the child is born, they're more in tune with that realm, in the spiritual realm. They're more connected to that realm. But as their essence dissolves and becomes crystallized because of the belief systems, the things that we teach them, where we take them to the school system.
False education.
Exactly. The false education is solidify and calcifies the pineal gland.
It's also TV and all the other distractions.
Exactly. Yeah. Even food, water. Exactly.
Just last question. Have you ever heard of a story of Simon Toko? And if you have, is it real?
What's the name?
Simon Toko.
Explain a bit more, and maybe if I heard.
Basically, he had kind of the same ability as Jesus in the 1960s.
Okay.
And
he's in Africa.
Yes.
I've heard of him. Yeah.
And the cabal tried to eliminate.
That's right. They couldn't. Yeah. That's right.
And then he got taken on the plane. They shot him up, chopped him up into pieces, sent him into corners of the earth where his body burned, turned to ash, and then he materialized in the cabal in front of them and gave them a warning.
Yeah, I've heard a story about that, but what's your question on that?
If you heard anything, is the information kind of true?
Right. So what we try to not do is give a spin or an explanation as to somebody other person's narrative.
Okay.
Yeah, because that'll be wrong to do.
Okay.
The people that followed him, if you're able to get access to them, you can then say to them, yeah, could you explain what happened? No, that's fine. But if I start to explain somebody else's narrative, then
just what maybe you heard.
No. If I did, and the master's broken it down, then I'd have broken it down too. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Thank you very much. You're most welcome, brother. Yeah.
Zamal.
Yes, my sister, Zamalta.
So what about so the pyramid is a secret place?
Is it a secret place?
Yes. Is it a secret place, the pyramid?
The pyramids were sacred initiation and learning schools initially. So they weren't burial chambers as what the Europeans initially thought them to be. Now they got a bit more wiser, and they've sent robots and things into the tunnels of the pyramids, and they've realized that due to the acoustics and the energy that's generated in the pyramids, it's not actually just a place of worship or a place of just for a tomb. It was actually an initiation and also a place of learning. And as I said earlier, the pyramids were used originally on the ley lines of the planet so that they could generate and harness energy, which generated into something which I didn't mention earlier. It's called tachyon energy. If you look up tachyon energy, it's what they say binds the universe together. The word, what you're looking at is the word tach and eon, okay, which you do with energy. So this energy actually binds the universe together. Yeah, in what we now teach as 9 ether or Pa'ut, the essence of energy of 9 ether is what binds the universes together. Scientists now refer to as gluons. Okay, so there's different terminologies dealing with the different particles that exist in nature that actually help bind this universe together or produces elemental forces, which then is harnessed and utilized by extraterrestrials or more advanced beings. So yeah, the pyramids were secret centers in that respect, in that certain initiations took place there. And obviously, as time has gone on, they've desecrated.
Recording stopped.
Okay. We've lost everybody. Can I be heard?
No, why ask that some more? Right. Because when we used to do
recording in progress
prayer.
Sorry,
when we used to do the tafel prayer, and we will bow, we will put our two thumbs on our lip and just make the pyramid shaped.
Okay, when was this?
That was long ago when you used to do the tafel prayer.
Okay. Oh, Zamata, I think. Okay, when we're doing the taful with the actions, is that the way you're referring to? When you do the different actions
Yes,
and then
Ahmad. Yes, yes.
right, okay. So the different stances when you go with the pyramid and you was like this, right? And you prayed like this, yeah? With your hands down, your face down.
Right, 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 right.
Okay, yeah. So that was just another form of just acknowledging where the central pyramid lay. You with me? So that's how, that was just a form of just acknowledging the third eye and the pyramid here. And now we do it. If you notice our greeting, we come from the sun, the raising of the sun, down to the third eye, yeah, and then down to the nose, and then down to the chin. So we're acknowledging those aspects, you see what I'm saying, of nature.
Jamal, let me see the chin one again, the chin one.
You see where the submental is, where the barytheric gland will you put
Where
your
you okay, okay.
thumb here and you bow. Does that make sense? So from the sun, yeah, the rays of the sun, yeah, okay. So that's what we do as a form of greeting or acknowledgement or of reverence. And the older a person that you're doing it to, the more lower you bow. So that was just like acknowledging the sun, your third eye, you see what I'm saying, and your solar plexus, your inner, where you breathe from the pyramid. Last question I've been told. So our master teacher has powers to always out us on the right track. 100%. You get his no. Truth is true, Zamal. Truth is true. Last questions before we close up.
I have a question, yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
Did Enki and Adley ever get the gold that they came here for?
Oh yeah,
Oh.
most definitely. Yeah, they were collecting a lot of gold, and to the point where Enki started to actually start wearing gold because they never wore gold before. They were actually utilizing the gold for experimental reasons or for technological reasons. But then it got to the point where Enki, he was seduced by the powers of Leviathan. The forces of Leviathan also affected these beings. You see, when you come from a higher state and then you incarnate to this realm, you're affected by the environment that you're in, whether it's mentally, spiritually, or physically. So to keep yourself on a vibration to the higher realms, you have to keep up certain practices. But he got caught up in the lust of the planet and it affected him, where he mated with a lot of females. You know, the ones you hear about, Enki went around doing his stuff. Let's just put it that way. So he fathered a lot of children on this planet.
Okay, thank you. Jamal.
And that, Moisar, brings us to the last question and the end of today's class. I like to say, Tawakum lahe toy pa daras at. Okay, to this kayat, this class, this study. I'd like to just make the announcement that we have a store, if you're not aware of it, a unit in Brixton. Okay, that's 29, what's it called? Arcade Avenue? Reliance Avenue, Caltech. Yeah, 29 Reliance Avenue. Here you go. Okay. Okay, that's our flyer. So if you see this flyer around, look out for the store. Okay, 29 Reliance Arcade, Brixton. And obviously here at Nashat, we say support our stores because that's how we're able to generate and self-fund. Okay, we also have various different events that will soon be taking place and we'll notify those who want to attend. We keep saying as well that keep focusing on Partner Bab Yanun, his freedom. He will be with us. As I said, there's a lot of things going on in the pipeline. That is those who are in the families, etc., come to Friday classes and want to be part of the family. You will get to know this more and more as time progresses. Okay, with that, unless I've forgotten anything else, Brother Saken or Haptui, who was on now, anyone online. We also have our Tuesdays, obviously, OSM. You can tune in with Brother Saken's camera here, and you can ask your questions there. Our OSM forum, if you want to also ask questions in there, we have student teachers around the world. We also have study classes as well on Thursdays, where you can actually study a particular book until we finish that book and study, and we concentrate just fully on that book. That's on every Thursday. So we have pretty much the week covered for anybody who really wants to know and embrace this culture. And if you have the time, tune into one of those. Okay, Ashok Moisar, and I wish you a very, very lovely, peaceful weekend. Wadu.